We already learned that Git three-stage architecture. Now we will implement those things. Okay, so this is the folder under the desktop Git tutorial, and inside this folder I made two files. One is a normal text document you can see over here, and other one is a HTML document. Let me increase the size. And since we are not seeing the extension file, but we have to enable the extension file so that you can understand it properly. Okay, so let's go to in the view, and in the option menu, hide extension, apply. Okay, now you can see this is a .txt file and this is a .html file. So this is a normal blank HTML file. So now let's make a basic HTML file. In the VS Code, let's make it, yeah, and this is example. The title is example, and in the body let's write over here Git tutorial. Okay, and this is, let me save this thing. And so we made a basic HTML file and an empty text file. Let's write over here Git tutorial and save it. So we make two files, one is text file and one is HTML file. Now let's open here the Git bash. So the Git bash is opened successfully. Let me increase the font size also so that you can understand it properly. So every time when you open Git bash into any folder, you have to write Git status. You have to remember these comments. Okay, since there is no Git repository link with this folder, so it's showing that not a Git repository. Okay, and I already told you that you have to write Git status whenever you open any folder, so that you cannot reinitialize a Git repository into a folder where the Git is already present. Okay, now we have to link this folder with the Git repository. For that we have to initialize this folder. Okay, so to initialize this folder you have to write git init, and if you enter you can see that initialize empty Git repository, then this folder path. And in this folder also there is a .git file which is hidden. If you want to see that, you have to go over here view, and in the option setting you have to tick mark this thing, show hidden files, and then apply, and okay, you can see there is a hidden file .git. And now all the responsibility of this folder is went to Git, and Git told you that no matter what you do over here, Git will always save those things. Okay, so now let's go over here in the Git bash, and now if I write Git status, uh, you can see on branch master. So we will learn about this branch master later on. For now, don't consider this thing. And the next line is no commits yet, because we didn't commit anything. And the next line is untracked files, example.txt and index.html, because these two files are untracked. The Git isn't track this file yet. You have to track all those files. For that you have to write git add -a, git add -a. Now you can see, okay, there was an error. You have to write git add double hyphen and then a, git add double hyphen a, and all the files are now tracked. Now if I write git status, you can see no commits yet, obviously, and changes to committed, these two files, and these are in green font, right? So that means these files are now in the staging area, which we learned in the previous video. Now we have to commit this thing to the Git repository, right? So for that you have to write over here git commit. Okay, git commit. Git commit actually open an editor, which we don't want right now. We want to make a folder, I mean the Git repository, with a name. Obviously you made a folder and you need to rename this folder. Okay, so for that you have to write over here -m and the folder name, that is suppose fast commit. and then if I press enter, you can see two files changed, 13 insertion, create mode, this thing example.txt and index.html. Now if I write git status, you can see on branch master nothing to commit, because every files which were present in the staging area is now committed, so there is nothing to commit, working tree clean. Okay, and if you want to see what are the files is committed, you can write git log, and you can see the author name was DIptam, the time and date is this, and the file name is fast commit. That means the fast commit is the fast commit name. Okay, it is the name of that commit. Now if I change anything in the files, suppose in the text file, we change and write a new sentence, that is this is for commit to, and save it. Okay, and if I do git status again, you can see this example.txt is modified, and it is not in the staging area right now because it is in the red font. Now if you want to move this file into the staging area, you have to write that previous comment again, that is git add hyphen a, and I mean let's modify the index .html. uh, let's add over here an heading, heading 1, and now save it. Okay, now if you run git status again, you will see these two files are modified right now, and these are not in the staging area, these are in the working area. And suppose you made some mistake in the HTML file, but you want to move that .txt file into the staging area. So for that you have to write over here git add example example.txt, and now if you press enter and then git status, you will see this thing is now in the staging area because this is now in the green font, and the index.html is not in the staging area. You can see changes not staged for commit. That means example.txt is now ready for commit, but the index.html isn't ready for commit. Now if you want to commit only the example.txt, you can just write over here git commit hyphen aim and the file name, that is the second commit, suppose, and then you can see one file changed and two insertion. And if you write over here git log, you can see the first commit was in the 10:10 p.m. and the second commit was in the 10:16 p.m. and in the second commit only the text file is there, not the HTML file. So now if I write git status again, you can see the index, sorry, I mean the example.txt is now committed, but the index.html isn't in the staging area as well as the git repository. It is in the working area. That's why it is showing in the red font. So let's revise it again. You have to write git status whenever you open any folder, and if the folder isn't in the git repository, you can write git init so that it initialize this folder, and then you have to write git status again so that you can see the untracked files. And if you want to add all the files available in the folder into the staging area, you can write git add hyphen a, not a single hyphen, it is a double hyphen a. And if you want a particular one to be add in the staging area, you can just write git add and the file name with extension. And after adding the files into the staging area, you have to write git commit, where is that, yeah, git commit hyphen aim and then your commit, I mean the folder name. Okay, you understand it properly, this is the folder name fast commit. And now if you want to see which are the folder available in the working area, not in the git repository, you can just write git status again to see which are in the working area and the staging area. And if you want to see which files are in the, I mean which commits are in the git repository, you can write git log. So that's it for this video right now.